Well, last night Kathleen mentioned something, and we got in a really good discussion off camera, but I loved it. And you asked Lorraine if she has ever seen, doing the illustrated collie standard, if she has ever seen the ideal collie. Is that what you...
I don't think
anybody just has. Tell us what you taught. This is wonderful.
I don't think... Oh, if when you go to an art gallery and you walk in, now maybe you don't do this, but most people do, and you should. You don't rush right up to the painting and point out the brush strokes. You stand back across the room and you look at this picture, and then you come up. And so when you judge dogs, you need to stand back. And what drives me bananas, when people, remember this if you show under me, if you're gating down and back and you come back to me, don't bring the dog here. I want it back here. For one thing, the dog then is looking like this, and you want it back here so you can see the picture, and you can walk around and see the picture of the dog. You don't want it right under you. And that just drives me bonkers. And I keep moving back, and then the person keeps moving the dog up. So anyway, but you need to have the overall look, and also the dog isn't made up of parts that it needs to be blended as a whole unit. And you need to look at it that way. It should have balance and proportion, and in the standard it mentions, maybe not exactly that word, but basically it does. Mm-hmm. The dog should be well balanced, and no part should appear out of proportion to any other part. And actually, if you read the preamble to the standard, you get the collie picture. It's probably in here someplace. And you will see, you don't even have to read the rest of the standard.
You also mentioned yesterday the big thing about temperament for a show dog.
Well, of course, temperament plays an important part. I mean, it's not just parts put together. It's the whole dog. And also, dogs have their day, too. You can, some dogs just on certain days. I watched the judging of Australian Shepherds at dog fanciers a couple of years ago, and there was a gorgeous, gorgeous Aussie bitch. And that day she was unbeatable. The next day, there's the same dog. She just wasn't emoting like she had the day before. She still was a very nice dog. You liked her and everything. But on that one day, there's no way, Jose, you could have put that dog down. And I've judged dogs like that. I judged Shelby's, I call it specialty this year, and this into the class came this, was in the puppy class, 6 to 9 puppy class, came this bitch. And when she walked in the ring, there's something about her. I said, this is the one they're all going to have to be. Mm-hmm. And then the handler, the gal that she showed, and then she won the puppy class, so she was in for winners, and she had passed the dog off to somebody else, and it was assisted, I guess. Anyway, but I ended up, gave her winner's bitch, and I ended up giving her the breed over the whole shooting match, because on that day, she did well. At the CC of A, she was one of the 3 pulled out for winner's bitch, and she was best rough puppy, and that whoever judged her there, I forgot when I read the critique, said something about the twinkle in her eye. I mean, she just had that look. I mean, she was very pretty, and so we'll see how if she finishes or whatever she does. But dogs have their day, and if you're lucky and you have one that's on its day that day, and they may, I mean, and that's what you're supposed to judge on the day. You can't necessarily have your crystal ball. You can, and so, however, I have had pretty good luck to put up puppies before, not quite to that extent. But there was a blue smooth that was being shown in Southern California. Well, it was shown quite a bit, and it was either Reno or Las Vegas. But I think it was at Reno, and there was 4 shows. No, 3 shows. There were 2 specialties and an all-breed show, and this blue puppy in the junior puppy class. And let me tell you, a smooth junior puppy is usually not very, I mean, you know, they're not, I mean, there's no hair to cover anything, and the bitches beat them hands down, you know, even in the smooth. The males, you know, they're so not done yet. And anyway, this puppy came in and he was very nice. And so I gave him winner's dog. He finished that weekend 3 5-point majors, and I finished him. And he went on. They finished him. They didn't bring it. They kept him away. In fact, they came up to our shows in Eugene, and they just had him with them because I wanted to see him. And by then he was about under a year, but he was. And they weren't showing him. They waited till he was a couple of years old before they brought him. And he had a very spectacular record. He had a split face. Mm-hmm. And Bandit, or whatever they call him. I mean, I forget what he's registered.
Oh, sure.
What is he's registered?
Cindy, and
yeah,
he took best opposite at the national.
Yeah, he did 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You think I
Bandit?
Bandit, exactly. Yep. Yeah, because he had a split face, beautiful blue color.
Well, who's ever editing this can probably look it up. They will know who Bandit is. I think we all do.
Yeah. Anyway, I was one of the ones that put him up when he was a puppy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was beautiful.
He was a beautiful dog, and they were smart. They finished him and they kept him out until he was an adult dog, and went through the whatever stages he was going to go through, because he had hit us time at that those 3 days when he was what the doctor ordered, and then probably, you know, that was just the time for him then, and then he came back as a mature dog. He did well at stud too, I think, didn't he?
Oh yes.
That's right.